The developer of a new mobile abattoir to provide the benefits of home-slaughtered meat to the public believes his vehicle might be the first to break through the obstacles that have so far prevented wider take-up in the cattle industry. Since turning to crowdfunding to finance the commercialisation of the company, nearly $70,000 has been raised by the Victorian-based Provenir to begin its operations. Chief Executive Chris Balazs says the first unit will start operating in June, while the expansion to build more units is hoped to begin by the end of the year.
Instead of the animals going to the abattoir goes to the animals. So from that process, we're able to produce exceptional quality meat with a very high regard for animal welfare, which many consumers who are wanting to see this as a product that they can buy. The Possible campaign was a fantastic way that our supporters were able to pre-purchase meat packs from us and be the first in Australia to enjoy this type of meat.
What sort of evidence is there that on-farm slaughter is any better for animal welfare outcomes?
Well, there's been a lot of documentation and study around live transport of animals and the stresses that creates, which is reflected in the meat quality as well. So the way that it generally works is that animals have glycogen reserves, which are consumed through any stressful process, and live transport or on the back of the trucks going to a processing facility is one of those stressors. The longer the distance and the longer the period of stress, the greater the consumption of glycogen that occurs within the meat. And then it actually creates a meat quality issue at the point of processing because there isn't the reserves of glycogen to turn to lactic acid and get the rapid pH drop, which is required for meat tenderness and taste. So anyone who's had the pleasure of consuming on-farm meat will know that, the meat at a farmer's table is pretty much the best you can get. And what we're looking to do is make that commercially available.
Exactly what's the cost differential for the producer and the consumer compared to sending the meat to, or rather the live beast, to the abattoir?
Oh, that's a really complex question there, Tom. So it depends on which perspective you're looking at it, from the farmers or the processors or the consumers. So if I take the response from the consumer's perspective, meat price point is around 10 to 15% more expensive. From there, we do have higher operating costs of having our staff out at the farm. From there, the farmer wins with us in the fact that they remove their transport costs, which, depending on where the farm is located, can be quite a significant percentage of the overall sale point, getting upwards between 5 and 8%. We pay a price premium to our farmers because we want to respect the work that they do, and we partner with regenerative, holistic management farmers that are producing an incredible product.
So what kind of rates of slaughter can you get through your mobile abattoir?
Yeah, we're validating that at the moment, so we're just about to launch. So we've done the modelling on 10 to 12 per day. We have capacity for probably 15 to 17 per day, and that's with the first unit. And then, obviously we're wanting to look at multiple units down the path. And
will the meat mostly be sold online, or is it through butcher shops?
We've established a very cool online store where people can purchase the meat and have it delivered to their home. We're also, we have a strong interest from the food service industry, so a lot of the top-end restaurants want to be serving this unique product on their menus as well. And in time, we're going to identify the right retailers, bricks and mortar, that we can make the product available for people across Australia.
And long-term, Chris, exactly how big would you like this to get? Have you got growth strategies as a company?
Absolutely. The first unit that we've got up and running, which will be operating in June, will go through and prove the concept that we have and also the meat quality that we know that it's going to be there. Then towards the end of the year, we're very keen to go to market with a Series A option and to get further investment and start to build a multitude of units. We'll probably be looking at another 5 at that stage, and we've got areas across Australia which are very keen for us to come and operate in their region.
And Chris, where are they actually going to be built?
We're going to go to tender as to where the next ones will be built because we're going to be at scale. So Would prefer it to be in Australia, but there might be opportunities overseas to have them built as well.
Chris Balazs, the Chief Executive for mobile abattoir company Provenir. He was speaking to Tom Major. In Berrigan, New South Wales, John Doyle will be the first cattleman to host the mobile abattoir on his property. He says he's interested to find out if it produces that superior quality meat many farmers know and love.
The first shipment's only a small number. I think it's probably a total of 20, which will be a mixture of cows and steers and heifers.
And what breed do you mostly run?
Ours will be Pole Hereford.
Is this something that you always sort of thought you wanted to get into a bit more and avoid the abattoirs and the meatworks?
Well, I only sort of became aware of it as an option back in January, and everybody knows what a good experience you get when you kill your own cattle on the farm. This procedure will be pretty similar to that, and hopefully it will be a benefit to consumers who buy that meat.
Do you normally kill many of your own cattle?
Just for our own use, a few, yeah, not as many as we used to, but as the family's all left, but yeah, we have done it in the past, and as anyone knows who eats their own would know there's nothing better. So.
Well, as you were saying, yeah, it's definitely something that's got a very good reputation out there, and a lot of the consumers in the wider community, I'm guessing, probably wouldn't have ever experienced that, so this might be a first for a lot of people, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, and also the traceability and the guarantee that we're grass-fed and no hormones and no antibiotics. Just hopefully they'll appreciate a better tasting meat, and we're looking forward to the feedback from the consumers from our own point of view to see if we're actually breeding the cattle that the consumers want.
What sort of preparation has to go into this visit by the mobile abattoir?
Basically, we just have the selected stock yarded the day before. It's been a 12-hour curfew, and we'll have another area away from our main yards that will yard the cattle for the day's kill, and the trucks pull in alongside that and do their work, and then the chiller truck takes the carcasses down to the butchery hub where they're cut up.
Now, have you sort of looked into maybe the economics of doing this more regularly or on a larger scale?
Well, obviously it's a little bit of an experiment on our behalf to enter in with this first episode of this particular way of selling your cattle. Just on the figures that we've done with the company, there's a premium there for us to do it, so hopefully that'll be expanded over time. And
will you yourself be sampling some of the meat that is processed in next month?
Oh, we hope so, to grab a pack or two to see how it is. So, of course, we would be very interested in trying some of that.
I wouldn't miss the opportunity either. That's John Doyle. He's a Berrigan cattle farmer. He was speaking to Tom Major.